In theory, power creep is actually avoidable, but only if a specific set of criteria is met. Of course, the first thing is if the developers keep adding new ways to play the game, like maybe adding new elements, new paths, or even new effects, like for example crit resistance into the game and stuff like that, or maybe even just making characters have a special place to tackle a specific content in the current game state. Of course, we can kind of see the downsides of this because it requires a lot of stringent requirement on the developer to keep creating new ways to make every character relevant, be it through rotating the monsters in the memory of chaos or introducing totally new content altogether and constantly refreshing them. As we can tell, all of this costs us a lot of money, and as we know, the main reason or how companies generate money in gacha games is by selling us a spanking new character. Of course, their associated weapon, as well as other resources in the game, also does contribute a lot to their revenue. And that is why when companies generally are very profitable, making a lot of money, you do see them take their time a little bit more in the power creep, stretching it out a bit more, because there's no need to rush, for example, to cash in on the latest character in case their game is going to end of service anytime soon. They're worried about that. And more thought of for them can be placed into increasing the longevity of games. For example, we see here the new banner that's released in Honkai Star Rail Kafka is a damage over time element that wasn't very popular previously when the game first started. So this is an attempt of the game developer to try to prolong the meta by spreading it out horizontally, broadening out the player base desire rather than just purely focusing on a crit rate, crit damage kind of power creep game state as well. So I think it's a good sign. And also another reason why the game developer here, Hoyoverse, who also makes another game, Genshin Impact, which is topping revenue charts for the past few years, especially in COVID. And you can also see that in Genshin Impact, it also has a slower tendency of power creep compared to a lot of the other games out there in other gacha games. Off the top of my head, I'm thinking of Fire Emblem Heroes as well. These kind of gacha games and many turn-based games also tend to release power creep too fast, and I do think it's because of Genshin Impact's very, very big wallet. They're able to sustain the game in a longer run as well, maybe through merchandising, physical products, intellectual property licensing, collaborations with KFC and all the other different stores. We even see Honkai Star Rail collaborating with bubble tea stores in Southeast Asia. Pretty amazing. I'm sure they definitely had to pay a bit of money to collaborate with a big name. So in that sense, there's no need for Hoyoverse really to quickly cash out with the fear of the game ending anytime soon. At this point, I think to be really fair, we have been talking about Hoyoverse, developers, and it's their fault for not investing more in broadening the game. But in actual fact, I do think that it does boil down to the players of the game as well. For example, I think it's largely community based. Let me give you an example. The truth is, if we think about it, meta as well as power creep is like a chicken and egg kind of situation. Without a care for meta, there will really be no need for power creep. And without power creep, there will actually be no true meta, since there is no single way to address all the different content in the game. An infinite game theoretically would allow us an infinite number of character users. Once we label a character, for example, as slightly weaker than another character, we are kind of signaling directly to the developers that we only care about a specific aspect into the game. Maybe it's big PP, crit numbers, more damage and stuff like that. But in actual fact, there are many different ways to play a game, and it's not really fair to signal to developers this is the only thing we care about, big numbers and stuff like that, because so many other ways we have seen that a lot of us are willing to adopt. But I think that is the first and most important thing is a lot of us too are at fault in the power creep situation because we are signaling a desire to only just play a one-dimensional game. Of course, it's foolish to just think that power creep is just damage alone. Many other things can also be so-called power creep. For example, design of characters. Maybe one character is way more handsome than the previous character, or way more good looking than maybe the last character that was released, and stuff like that. Novelty is always a strong temptation. You will see in a lot of luxury products, a lot of products in the world out there. We always want the latest new thing. It always tends to be a little bit more desirable than maybe the characters that we started off with and had and feeling very, very familiar all over the long time as well. But of course, thankfully, not everyone can have too many waifus and husbandos. That is why this issue never really takes center stage in discussions on power creep. But it's something that the developers also use as another way to broaden out the amount of sales that they can make by introducing new fancy characters as well. Lastly, I just want to talk about another thing that I think will help add to this conversation that we are having in terms of power creep. And if you are finding value in this video so far and you appreciate such content, leave me a comments below. What do you think about power creep? I'll be happy to hear your thoughts as well. But last but not least, I want to talk about like another way that developers can reduce the number of power creep is also by having like nerfs and buffs to certain characters over a period of time. Of course, this is like the MOBA style like Dota, League of Legends, Mobile Legends and stuff like that, where maybe you buff certain characters or nerf certain characters periodically. But I think the key downside to like this is it's very hard to justify. Does this character need a buff? Does this character need a buff? Or does this character need a buff? Like, what is the exact notion that we are going to go about to justify which character is getting a buff and by how much? Is it just by usage rates? I don't think that's really fair, because maybe some people play certain characters because they like the design a little bit more than other characters. Not everything just revolves around like meta and damage numbers. For example, maybe some of us just like certain characters more because we want to play this character, progress stories and stuff like that. A lot of time is generally needed to also analyze these kind of meta game state to see who exactly needs buffs, how much testing and stuff like that, which could actually just simply be spent introducing more characters in the game, or maybe just thinking about the whole game state and making the game better by introducing new story, selling you characters that are not meta but like super relevant in story, and etc, etc. Ultimately, in theory, I do think that power creep is not impossible, but the biggest thing that I think it needs, you will really need two hands to clap. If you don't have both the community willing to try new things and a desire for the developer to like build a very long sustaining game, I don't think it will ever happen. Right now, as we speak, I do think Hoyoverse is the latter. They really do want to build a game that lasts us a long time, and the former reason of the community willing to try new things is one reason why I don't entertain any drama of characters in the game, and every character, in my opinion at least, has a place, and it's for the ones who really care about the game to actually find it. And that's what this channel is all about. And thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.